A Reddit user posted something that got thousands of upvotes on the mechanical keyboards forum. He said he spent $170 on a Razer Black Widow. Then he bought a $50 Keychron on a whim. Within a week, the Razer went in a drawer. It never came out. The comments were full of people saying the same thing. Different brands. Same story. Expensive gaming keyboard replaced by a budget board that felt better, sounded better, and worked better. Here is what the gaming keyboard industry does not want you to figure out. A mechanical switch is a mechanical switch. The physics of a spring pressing against a contact does not change because Razer printed their logo on the keycap. What changes is the price. And in gaming keyboards, the gap between what you pay and what you get is wider than almost any other product in tech. 7 brands. All overpriced. All bought by people who did not know better. And at the end, I will show you exactly what to buy instead. Razer is the most recognized gaming peripheral brand on earth. And recognition is exactly what you are paying for. The Razer Black Widow V4 costs $170. For that money, you get Razer's proprietary green switches, per key RGB lighting, a magnetic wrist rest, and Razer Synapse software. Sounds premium. Until you realize what each of those actually means. Proprietary switches mean you are locked into Razer's ecosystem. If a switch breaks, you cannot replace it with a standard Cherry or Gateron switch. You need Razer's parts at Razer's prices. And Razer Synapse, the software that controls your lighting and macros, is the single most complained about keyboard software in the community. A full analysis of Reddit discussions found that 41% of negative comments about Razer keyboards specifically mentioned Synapse. Bloated. Requires cloud login. Runs background processes constantly. You are paying $170 for a keyboard that locks you into bad software and proprietary hardware. That is not premium. That is a trap with ARG lighting. The Corsair K100 costs $230. It has an ICUE control wheel, per key RGB, and Corsair's HyperX optical switches. It looks like a spaceship dashboard, and 95% of the people who buy it will never use the features that justify the price. The ICUE control wheel lets you adjust volume, scroll through apps, and remap macros. How many gamers actually use a rotary dial mid-game? The macro engine is powerful for someone who programs complex key sequences. How many people buying a K100 are actually doing that? Corsair charges $230 because the product looks like it should cost $230. The RGB is beautiful. The build is solid. But underneath the aesthetics, the actual typing and gaming experience is not meaningfully better than a Keychron Q-Series board at half the price. You are paying for ICUE software that requires constant updates and a feature set designed for a power user that you are probably not. The SteelSeries Apex Pro costs $200. Its headline feature is adjustable actuation. You can change how far you need to press each key before it registers. On paper, that sounds revolutionary. In practice, it is a solution looking for a problem. Most competitive gamers play on standard switches with a fixed actuation point. They have for decades. The advantage of adjustable actuation is measurable in lab conditions and invisible in real gameplay. You are not losing games because your actuation point is 1 millimeter off. You are losing because someone is simply better. SteelSeries knows this. But adjustable actuation sounds incredible on a spec sheet and in a YouTube ad. That is its real purpose, to justify a $200 price tag on a keyboard that types and games identically to one costing a third of the price. Alienware keyboards are Dell products with gaming aesthetics. The switches are generic. The build quality is average. The software is forgettable. And the prices are premium. An Alienware mechanical keyboard costs over $150. For what? The Alienware logo and a design language that matches your Alienware laptop. That is the entire value proposition brand consistency for people who already bought into Dell's gaming ecosystem. If you already own an Alienware laptop and want your desk to match, fair enough. But if you are shopping for the best keyboard at that price, you are overpaying for a name badge. Logitech makes some of the best mice in the industry. Their keyboards tell a different story. The G Pro mechanical keyboard costs $130. The switches are Logitech's GX series fine, but unremarkable. The keycaps are ABS plastic that develops shine within months of regular use, and the keyboard is not hot swappable. Meaning when a switch dies, you cannot replace it yourself without soldering. For $130, you should get hot swap sockets and P-beat keycaps as a minimum. Keychron, Royal Kludge, and even Redragon include both at a fraction of the price. Logitech G Pro coasts on the Logitech gaming brand without delivering the value the price demands. HyperX makes decent keyboards. I want to be clear about that. The Alloy Origins is a solid board with good build quality and genuine Cherry MX switches. The problem is not that HyperX is bad. The problem is that it is overpriced for what you get. The Alloy Origins core costs around $110 for a tankless layout with cherry red switches and aluminum construction. A Keychron V1 gives you hot swappable switches, gasket mount construction, PBT keycaps, and a sound profile that most reviewers prefer for $70. $40 less. More features. Better typing experience. HyperX is the brand that people buy because they have heard of it, not because they compared it to what else is available at the same price. The last slot goes to every no-name Amazon keyboard that claims to have mechanical switches and charges $40 for what is actually a membrane board with clickier plastic underneath. Search gaming keyboard on Amazon and you will find dozens of listings with RGB lighting, aggressive font choices, and descriptions that use words like mechanical feel instead of mechanical switches. That distinction matters. Mechanical feel means membrane. They are hoping you will not notice. Some of these keyboards also claim Cherry MX compatibility. They are not compatible. The switches are unbranded clones that feel inconsistent, sound scratchy, and die faster. You are not buying a mechanical keyboard. You are buying a costume designed to look like one. 7 brands down. Here is where your money should actually go. Keychron. The V series starts at $50. The Q series at $90. Both are hot swappable, meaning you can pull out any switch and replace it without tools or soldering. Both have gasket mount construction for a softer, more cushioned typing feel. Both use PBT keycaps that do not develop shine. And the mechanical keyboard community on Reddit considers Keychron the single best value brand in the entire market. Not budget, not entry level, best value. Period. Redragon $25 for a genuine mechanical keyboard with hot swappable switches. A Slick Deals user wrote that he bought a $12 Redragon on Cyber Monday, and it was still being used in his office years later, letters worn off the keycaps but still functioning perfectly. Over 100,000 reviews on Amazon with a 4.6-star average. At $25, this keyboard is not a compromise. It is a statement about how much markup the rest of the industry is charging. Royal Kludge RK84. $55. 75% layout, which is the layout that competitive gamers and programmers increasingly prefer. Hot swappable. Wireless with Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz modes. Comes with software for remapping and RGB customization software that actually works without cloud login or background processes. This is the keyboard that makes the Razer Black Widow look like a financial mistake. The gaming keyboard industry sells you two things: switches and lights. The switches in a $30 Redragon and a $170 Razer both do the exact same job. They register a key press when you push down. They reset when you let go. The spring pushes back. The contact closes. Physics does not care about the logo. The lights? ERG-B is a commodity. Every keyboard at every price point has per key RGB in 2026. It is no longer a premium feature, it is table stakes. So what are you actually paying for when you buy a gaming keyboard over $100? Marketing, software you hate, proprietary locks, and keycaps that start shining after 3 months. Or you could spend $50 on a Keychron and put the other $120 toward a better mouse, a better headset, or a better monitor upgrades that will actually improve your gaming. Like this video if it saved you from wasting your money. Subscribe for the next one. I am going after phone brands, and the hidden gems on that list cost half of what Apple charges. See you there.